The annual Ladybug fundraising wine and tasting and silent auction that benefits Richmond Arc is coming up next weekend on the 24th.
Locally based Chef Kara is here with a delicious preview. Today she's making zucchini flatbread. So I'm guessing she didn't run to the store and get bread and milk. Well, we got flatbread. But we're ready to go, right?
Yeah.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing fine. How are you guys?
Doing well. This Arc event is going to have a lot of wonderful food. Is this the recipe that you're making for the event?
Absolutely. Yes, and it'll be available on your guys' website.
Oh, so a sneak preview for us.
Yeah.
So a flatbread, not quite a pizza, but kind of in the same idea range, right?
Yeah, but I think you have more fun with a flatbread. You know, it's more of a cocktail kind of thing.
Oh,
so yes,
cocktails.
Yes.
You didn't bring any cocktails.
It's not as bad as pizza, I guess you would say.
Oh, but it's got all the same kind of things. It's got the bread, it's got the tomatoes, it's got the topping. And you and I were talking before the show how much we love arugula on top of something like this. It's beautiful. So where do we start?
So we first start with the flatbread, and I actually have one all ready to go. It's grilled. We just
been grilling that since we started the show.
Yeah, it takes a while for this thing to heat up. So I just wanted to get some nice grill marks on it. So what we would do is just take it off while it's still warm.
Now you said the first thing. That's not the first thing you did because you've got a lot of stuff prepared over there.
We did this.
You've been doing some prep work.
Yes, we did some prep work. So there's some of the things that we already have prepped, but I'll explain when I go. So we first start to spread the Boursin cheese, which is just an herb cheese. It's very nice. I like a lot of it on here.
Okay, so do we. So go for it.
So I go ahead and spread all over the place.
And what exactly is a Boursin cheese?
So Boursin cheese is just an herbed, I would say kind of like a goat cheese.
Okay.
But you can find it in any kind of store. It's usually where all the fancy cheeses are. And then I go ahead and take our zucchini ribbons. So what we did was we took our mandolin, which is just something that we use to make things...
The thin slices.
Thin slices, yeah. And then we just saute them in a pan just a little bit, just until they're tender.
And did you season those?
Saute them in what?
Saute them in olive oil and some salt and pepper.
Okay. So pretty straightforward.
Yeah, pretty straightforward.
Kind of like some zoodles.
Yeah, basically. And then I would take the balsamic onions, which is just red onion.
Now see, that almost looked like red cabbage.
Yeah, well, what we use is red wine vinegar and red wine, and we let it reduce, and that's why it gets this dark color, but it's full of flavor, very caramelized, it's very good. And then we take our roasted tomatoes, which we just cut in half lengthwise, and we toss it in a little bit of olive oil, salt and pepper, and some fresh basil and oregano.
And you roasted those at what temperature for how long?
Like 350 for about 35 minutes.
And that really brings out the sweetness of the tomatoes.
It really does, yes, and it just makes them extremely tender and just full of flavor.
And I see you have grape tomatoes here, but could you use any kind of tomato if you wanted to?
Yeah, if you want to, you can just use Romas and slice them really thin, but I like to use these because they kind of get that nice flavor of the tomato when you roast them.
Yeah.
It's a hard time doing that with the larger
tomatoes.
tomatoes.
They have compressed flavor in the grape tomatoes.
Yep, and then we would go here and take our arugula. And
for us, the star of the show, right?
Yes. And then I have a little bit of the basil lemon oil. I would just kind of drizzle just a tad bit in there.
Now, do you guys make the basil lemon oil yourself?
Sometimes we do, but you can actually buy this in stores. I actually have that at home myself. And a little bit of salt and pepper, and then you just kind of toss it around, just like that.
So when you were doing all the prep work, and what'd you call the zucchini? What'd you call them?
Zucchini ribbons.
She calls them ribbons. I call them zoodles.
Yeah, zoodles.
When you were doing
zucchini noodles.
So obviously you've done a lot of extra ones for us because you didn't do just for one.
Yes.
So you're gonna make like for everybody in the station.
Yeah,
right? Yeah. Okay, good. I'm just checking. Okay, because there's a lot over there.
Yeah.
Now, before you top this with the arugula, does that go back in the oven to melt, or?
If you want to, because the flatbread is already pretty hot, you can probably just like toss it in there just a little bit. Otherwise, the arugula will kind of wilt. But I'll be sprinkling some Parmesan cheese on top of it as well. So yeah, I'll probably throw it in just maybe for like 30 seconds, and then just take it out, and then you just cut it in half.
Cheese on the bottom, cheese on the top.
Yeah, we gotta top it off with cheese. There's never enough cheese.
That is serious. And I love the way you have the grill top on the electric stove so that we have the grill inside.
Yeah. This is actually a perfect way to try to get grill marks without the actual grill outside. So like right now when it's cold and maybe possibly snowing, you can do this inside of your home.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that looks absolutely beautiful.
Yes,
Thank you,
it's
Kara.
delicious.
It looks delicious.
And
We're
you
going to
did
try
all
that.
the work up front, so it was pretty simple.
Yeah,
and
pretty
of course,
much.
This is a preview for the ARC event, and Bill, you got some information
Yeah,
about a special
definitely.
deal.
We have a special Virginia This Morning offer for you this morning. morning. If you'd like to get a discounted ticket for ARC, you can go to richmondarc.org and get an $85 ticket, which is a reduced price. So there you go.
That sounds great. Thank you, Chef.
Thank you.
Greater Richmond ARC's annual Ladybug wine tasting and silent auction is Saturday, March 24th at the Torque Club. That's that big place up in the sky overlooking the Richmond Raceway Complex. Very cool place to have an event.
It really is.
Yeah.
And the ARC event begins at 6 p.m. on the 24th. We'll put a link to full information on our website by early this afternoon at WTVR.com/VTM. Chef Kara, thank you so much. That looks delicious.
Yeah.
Somebody here is going to have a great breakfast.
I know, right?